This is the Split Decision Podcast, and I'm here with Dave. I'm Scott, and we're doing something a little bit different this time. We're going to do a special episode. This is our third episode, and once in a while we're going to do something that we call the Fighter's Corner. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick one fighter, and we're just going to talk about them. It's going to be a short podcast, maybe 10 or 12 minutes, and we're just going to discuss that fighter. And today's highlight fighter is Julianna Pena.
The Venezuelan vixen.
Yes, sir. And Julianna was the first winner of the Ultimate Fighter TV show as a woman.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a really exciting season. It was a really fun season. There was a lot of, bad blood between the coaches.
Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate.
Yeah, a lot of bad blood there. And so we kind of found ourselves definitely rooting for Miesha's team most of the way through.
Yeah.
And, Julianna was a part of that team. And, right from the get-go, she was kind of an underdog. Rousey tried to pick what she thought was her strongest fighter in Shayna Baszler and put him against Miesha, what she perceived as Miesha's weakest fighter, which was Julianna Pena.
Yeah, and what a mistake that was.
Yeah, big mistake.
Julianna ended up winning that season of the Ultimate Fighter, and I mean, it was just crazy because right off the bat, we were big fans of hers because she was an underdog and because she had so much try.
Yeah, that was one of the things that really, caught our attention, that, from the first bell to whenever the fight was over, she was 100 miles an hour, all in the whole time.
Yeah. And you actually met Julianna Pena in Vegas.
I did last summer, almost a year ago. At the UFC Fan Expo.
Yeah.
And,
what was she like?
Oh, man, she was super nice. I mean, she was a really cool person to talk to because it didn't seem fake at all in the interaction. I mean, she's there meeting, hundreds of people,
Right.
And to every person, especially, you can't hear every fan interaction, but I mean, I got to hear, pretty much 5 people in front of me before I met her, and she's super nice to them. And then when I get up there, she's super excited for the fans to be there. She's really appreciative of, the fans taking their time, spending their money to meet her.
Yeah, that's awesome to see a fighter like that keeps her feet on the ground and is appreciative of what she has. And she's got a huge fight coming up this weekend.
Yeah, with Kat Zingano. What a matchup that's going to be. That's an exciting fight.
Yeah, it really is. Their styles are kind of identical, They're both great strikers, and they both got a lot of heart and try really hard. That is just a stellar matchup.
Yeah, and we've been talking about this for a while now, how excited we were for this fight. And, it's a fight that's on a fight card that's already super stacked. And we've both talked about how we feel like even with all these other stacked fights, big fights on there, that this really does have a chance, at the end of the night to be one of the bonus winners.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just the matchup on paper is incredible. And, Kat's been one of the tops in the division for a while, and Julianna's been steadily working her way up there. And now she's got a chance to really use this as a stepping stone to get right up there in the top 2 or 3 fighters in this division and maybe even get a title shot.
For sure. And, we were both excited to see Julianna Pena. We were excited to see her come back from that devastating injury that she suffered when she pretty much blew everything out in her knee. And that was, it happened at really a horrible time for her because she was on such a tear. She was just, taking everybody out in the division and really looking good. And then she just blows her knee out like that, and it kind of slows down her momentum, that, the big momentum that she was on. And then when she came back, she had a good fight against Jessica Ai, but it wasn't necessarily the same finish that she's used to, necessarily because, she went to a decision.
Jessica Ai's a tough fighter,
for sure.
And that was a good fight. But sometimes, that first fight back from an injury, you're worried about how that knee's going to hold up and stuff like that. But, Pena hasn't lost since the tough season.
Yeah, I mean, she's since she's been in the UFC, she's undefeated. She's 7-2 overall, right, and 3-0 in the UFC. So this fight coming up, Kat Zingano, is really something that a lot of, quote unquote experts are considering sort of a title elimination bout. One of these two girls, whoever wins, it moves themselves right up into a possible title shot.
Yeah, and I can totally see that, because Kat's had her title shot, and she remains one of the top fighters up there in that division, and Pena's undefeated. So if you beat Kat Zingano, you've put yourself in line to get that title shot. I mean, that division is kind of in a little bit of chaos right now. Who knows what they'll do? But if she beats Kat Zingano, I don't see why she shouldn't get a title shot.
Yeah, why is she not deserving? I mean, she's proven time and time again that she has the power to finish people. She is exciting. She's a fan draw. I think she's a fan favorite because of the way that she fights these bouts. And, you can't get away from the fact that, she's very pretty, right. And so she's got that, double threat kind of thing going on where she's, a good looking girl who is a stud fighter. Why wouldn't you want to promote that if you're the UFC? And so, I mean, she wins this fight against Kat Zingano. Hey, there you go. There's a big fight coming up.
Yeah, and this division keeps getting more and more exciting, too, because it seems like some of these girls like Holly Holm and Julianna Pena and some of these girls started off a little lower than they probably should have in the rankings, and they've been working their way up in the last couple of years, and now these girls are getting on top of the division, and it's getting really exciting.
Yeah, it really is. It's sort of muddy in the waters in the sense of, who is the top-tier fighters in this division. Well, I would say pretty much 1 through 8 are pretty legitimate in the sense of they could all beat one another. Right. Yeah, a lot of them have different styles, contrasting styles, different things that could, neutralize the other. But they're all right there in contention where they can all beat one another. I agree.
And in this particular fight coming up with Kat Zingano, Julianna Pena's the underdog on the sports books. And, I guess that's legitimate because Kat's held that position she's had for a while. And but I really like the odds in this fight because Pena being an underdog, I like that because, betting on that fight, she's the one to pick.
Yeah, and Julianna Pena being the underdog has worked out well for us in the past.
Yeah.
Whenever.
And how long are they going to keep doing this to
exactly. I mean, we've won a little bit of money. We won't get into how much we've won off of Julianna Pena. But
underdogs in that division in general.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, I think her being the underdog in this fight, I think it's going to pay dividends for us again when it comes down to it.
And for her too, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah, I think she's deserving of it.
Yeah, I think her winning this fight, which I think me and you both believe she's going to win this fight. I think after she does, I think it's going to, kind of step her up another tier in the sense of being a bona fide star in the UFC. She's already popular, but I think this will continue to move her up a rung at a time in the sense of people looking at her as, a name or the name in the division.
Right. So this is what we're going to try to do on this particular segment of our podcast. And like we said, we're going to try to keep it kind of short. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear what you think about Julianna Pena or whatever fighter we're talking about at the time. So go ahead and get in touch with us.
Yeah, and you can get in touch with us. You can get on the web, visit our website, www.thesplitdecisionpodcast.com, or you can, tweet us out your questions at TSDpod.
Yeah, and we're on Facebook and Instagram also, The Split Decision Podcast. We have an email also if you want to do it that way, ask@thesplitdecisionpodcast.com.
Yeah, great. And, like Scott said, tweet us out your questions, your comments, whether you agree, disagree, whatever it is. The more fan interaction we get, the better. And that's really what we're looking for here.
Exactly. And until next time, we'll see you in episode 4.
Peace.